Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Sulistiawati Nurhelfa as English teacher in your class. How are you? I hope all of you are fine. Alhamdulillah. Alright, before we start our lesson today, we should pray first. Pray start. Have you done? Alright, all of you are present. So, are you ready for study today? Alright, let's begin. Have you ever heard of narrative texts? Do you know what are narrative texts and the generic structures of narrative texts? Alright, do you know what this is? That's right all. There is an example of narrative text. The title is The Legend of Tangkuban Parahu Mountain or Sangkuriang. Now, you should go to the YouTube to watch and learn this material. I have done uploaded in my YouTube channel and you can access now. After you have done watch the video, we will be discussed in here. What is narrative text? Narrative text is a text that amuses or entertains the readers. Narratives deal with problematic events which lead to a crisis or turning points of some kind, which in turn finds a resolution. Well, there are three generic structures of narrative text. First, orientation. It sets the scene and introduces the participants of the story. The second is complications. It shows when the crisis arises. And the third is resolution. It shows when the crisis is resolved for a better or worse condition. And there are the grammatical features of narrative text. Consists of use of adjectives to build a noun groups to describe the people, animals, or thing in the story, such as fresh grass, a quiet corner, and age. Use of time connectives and conjunction to sequence events through time, such as after, while, later, then, and age. Use of adverbs and adverbial phrases to locate the particular events, such as into the field, one day, and age. Use past tense, such as he began to actually look forward to the wolf present. Use of action verbs to indicate the actions, such as took, walked, stood, and age. Use of saying and thinking verbs to indicate what characters are feeling, thinking, or saying, such as moaned.
Banyuwangi is a city located in the province of East Java on the eastern coast. As with other cities in the archipelago, Banyuwangi also has an exciting story which tells the origin of its name. A long time ago, on the east coast of Java Island, there was a kingdom of peace, prosperity, and people living in happiness. This prosperous kingdom was led by a fair and wise king named King Bantera. Sometimes, King Bantera would go hunting in the forest. On one hunting trip, King Bantera saw a deer who was drinking from the river and shot at him from horseback. But unfortunately, the arrow missed and stuck in a tree trunk. The deer was shocked and ran into the lush trees. The scared deer kept running to save itself from King Bantera. Finally, the deer hid in a dense thicket on the riverside near a waterfall. King Bantera rode to the edge of the river to chase after the deer. While holding his bow and arrow, King Bantera watched over his surroundings to search for the escaping deer.
Your Majesty, what are you doing here? Your Majesty, forgive me if I startled you, Your Majesty.
King Bantera finally found the origin of the voice that called him. He came down from his horse and approached the woman.
Who are you? Are you the guardian of this forest?
My name is Surati, Your Majesty. I am the daughter of the King of Kulungkung. I'm here because I'm escaping from our enemies. My father died in the war to defend the kingdom.
King Bantera became sorry after he heard what happened to Surati. The king then brought Surati back to the palace. Not long after, King Bantera married Surati. After being married for quite a long time, King Bantera still could not give up his hobby of hunting. One day, King Bantera said goodbye to Surati to go hunting. King Bantera set out to hunt, escorted by several horsemen. However, without them realizing it, a pair of eyes watched over the departure of King Bantera and his bodyguard. A man dressed in rags walked towards the palace once King Bantera and his bodyguard were far away. He jumped over the palace wall and slipped inside.
Surati!
Surati was surprised.
Huh? Rupaksa? What are you doing here?
The man who infiltrated the palace turned out to be Surati's brother, Rupaksa.
Surati, you need to know that your husband, King Bantera, killed our father. You have to help me get revenge for our late father.
Surati was very surprised, but she did not believe what her brother had said.
No, brother. King Bantera saved me in the forest. I am indebted to him.
Rupaksa was very angry with Surati's answer.
Bring this headband as a souvenir, and keep it under your bed.
Surati received Rupaksa's headband without saying a word and watched her brother leave. King Bantera, who was hunting in the forest, did not know of the incident at the palace. In the middle of riding, Rupaksa came upon King Bantera's party in the middle of the woods and made him stop.
Who are you? How dare you intercept me in the middle of the road like this? Forgive me, Your Majesty. I only wanted to tell you that your wife planned to murder you, Your Majesty. How dare you say that about my wife? Where's the proof? Just look under the bed, Your Majesty. There must be a headband belonging to the man whom your wife paid to kill you. That is proof that your wife had planned your murder with her messenger.
The king immediately returned to the palace.
So it's true what the man said in the forest. My wife has conspired to kill me.
No! No! I never intended to kill you, Your Majesty. The person that you met in the forest was my brother Rupaksa.
I don't believe your words. I saved you in the forest, and this is what you give me in return?
Surati was devastated. She ran to the edge of a deep waterfall.
Your Majesty, I never intended to do you harm. I will throw myself in the river down there. If the water smells good, that means I'm innocent. But if it smells terrible, that means I am guilty.
Surati jumped into the waterfall. King Bantera tried to prevent it, but it was too late. He looked over the edge of the waterfall from which Surati had thrown herself. King Bantera continued to look into the ravine, when suddenly a very fragrant smell appeared.
I'm sorry, my love. Why did I trust a stranger over my own wife?
Since then, the term Banyuwangi has been the name for the area. In Javanese, Banyu means water, and Wangi means fragrant. Banyuwangi refers to the fragrant water that revealed Surati's innocence.
My pleasure, Student B. Any questions? If don't any questions, I will end today's learning. Before that, you should give a conclusion about the material today. Of course, besides your understanding, alright? Good job all. From the conclusion you have made, I can conclude that you have understood this material. So, I want to give homework. Make a group consist of 3 students. Then, all of you searching an example of legend story. After that, write a story with your own words. Next, specify the generic structure. And finally, you upload it in Google Classroom. Do you understand? Today, the learning has done. Alhamdulillah. Thank you for you all and see you next week. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.